We've had a very lovely day sitting and listening. Now I'm going to make you work. Because you all have conference brain by now. Your head feels like it's this big, and you cannot understand how you could fit one more piece of information in. Well, this is where I'm going to start pulling information out. Who here is a natural-born organizer? Pretty much everybody in the room. On your report cards as a child, and I don't know what you call them here, did the teachers use words like bossy? Yes? Bossy? Bully? Efficient? Elaine's always on time? How about this one? Who here was called the social butterfly at school? Raise your hands, ladies. Oh, well, I don't know. After sitting through lunch and being outside during the photography nightmare, I would say that most of you would be a social butterfly in your own right when you're doing the thing that you love to do. So today we're going to start with limiting beliefs. How many limiting beliefs did you hear today from your friends sitting beside you? None? You haven't heard any? I hear them all the time. I hear them from women that I work with because that is my niche market, women. Because we have been conditioned, and I don't know in Africa if it is the same as it is in Canada, where, oh, you can't do that? What do you mean you're going to charge that? Who do you think you are charging that? Who do you think you are? You are a strong, wonderful woman who has the ability to help somebody because you have a natural talent that you can't get a degree in. You can get training, but you can't get a degree. There isn't one. I've had clients say to me, do you have a degree? No, I don't, and I don't need one. What I need is everything that I have within me. So we're going to start with, and we're going to work as a group because I really think that we're going to pull out. So to define a limiting belief, it's a term used for a belief that inhibits the exploration of a wider cognitive space that would otherwise be the case. It's the lies we believe. It's the lies we believe. And if you argue for your limitations, sure enough, they're yours. So if you say those things, yes, they'll be right, whether they're good or bad. So I gave an example here, and this is one of the biggest examples that I get from women that I work with, organizers that I have met, and this is my 7th organizing conference in 5 years. I love going to conferences. I learn from every one of them, and I meet people. But they say, when I tell people what I charge, they say, people will not pay that in my city. There are 5,000 people in my city. It's a very small city. They pay me because I believe I'm worth it. So we're going to flip chart because organizers love paper, flip chart, and markers. We love paper stores. So we're going to go around the room because maybe somebody can verbalize a limiting belief that they have, that you have, but weren't sure. And I really want you to write and think, because when you go home, this is going to help you further define your business and who you are. So beyond, people in my city won't pay for that. What other limiting beliefs do we have about our business, about ourselves?
I'm not a business person.
I'm not a business person. Did anybody feel that today after listening to everybody speak? Oh, wow, that's a lot of work. You have to do accounting? Well, I'm not a business person. Do you have to be a business person? No. We'll talk about that later in collaboration. What else? I'm not a business person. Yes?
I'm not sure there's a market for this.
I'm not sure there's a market for this, right. With 5,000 people in my town, I was pretty skeptical. I'm not sure I'm not a great writer. I'm not sure there is a market. That's huge, yes. As an ex-banker, how was I going to market myself? Okay. So I can't market myself. That.
There's already somebody in my area doing what I'm doing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the whole competition. She's got it all marked out. Excellent. There. Oh.
So I can make sustainable living.
Yes. You're not sure if you can make a sustainable living. Can I make a living? I know my husband keeps asking me that. He was on the Freedom 45 plan. Now he's moved it to 50. Anybody else?
I
What?
live in a small town, similar.
Yes.
I'm known as a wellness therapist.
How can you do this if that's what you did, right? Okay. So the limiting belief is, so how can I do all these things?
Yes.
You need to talk to Colette, because Colette is the queen of taking all of those things. Yes. And because those things make you who you are. Yeah. So how can I transition? Because some of you, who here has a job right now outside of organizing that they're doing? Okay. Oh, yes. So there's a lot of, I would say half the room is sitting here on the fence saying, oh my heavens, what do I want to do? Do I stay in this thing that is pulling me down and taking my energy away? Or do I go to this other thing, which is unknown, scary? There's the beliefs, unknown, scary. Look at this room. Here's your sisters.
What if I fail?
What if I fail? If I fail, there's the, oh, then everybody can say, I told you so, Barbara. Who were you? Yes. But you know what? Do you know people that fail? People that fail actually tried. And I can tell you in 5 years, ask Colette, I'm the queen of failure.
Entrepreneurs fail better than other people because they don't look at it the same way.
And as Allison said this morning, right? You fail forward. I fail forward every time. And my husband's like, oh, is this going to be the time that we're all going to pay for it? Right? Oh, she lost the client, or gee, that ad. Like the first time I did my paper ad, 500 Canadian dollars is a lot of money for a one-page spread in the local paper. And the only call I got was my mother, who said, you look really good. Wow. So I have to tell you, that was a huge failure. I could have spent $500 on a whole lot of other stuff, like organizing tools, or maybe my website, things that would actually work. Yes, that was a great day. I have it framed in my office so that I can see it. So are there any other limiting beliefs now that we're getting our juices rolling? Does everybody feel that? Yes?
Being afraid of getting a job that we don't think we can do.
Yeah. Not being able to handle it. That's the belief. Yeah, I can't handle it. Yeah, you can't handle. And there's a lot that we can't handle because it's new. It's what we're doing is innovative. You are the trailblazers, ladies, in this country. You are doing something that nobody else is doing. To be at the infancy of an organization and an association that is beyond the stuff. You are helping people heal their lives. It's way bigger than the stuff. So, any other? Who's going to take me seriously? Oh.
Can we put the legs down for you, Elaine?
Would you like me to what? If you want to get right up there. Who's going to take me seriously? Exactly, because you don't have a degree. You don't have a degree. How do you know how to do this? Is there a handbook? Well, there are, because there's lots of resources now. 20 years ago, when Anne Gambrell from California and her gal pals started professional organizing, they didn't have anything. They didn't even have computers. They didn't have cell phones. 20 years ago, they had themselves. And they had an innate skill that they marketed and turned it into something that made them feel whole. And then they were able to help their clients. It's so much bigger. So, all these things that are holding you back, are they real? They're in our minds. They're not real. And we're only limited by our own imagination and that thing about failing forward. So remember that. I'm the gal who has been doing this for 5 years. I had a $500 ad that my mother looked at, and I'm here in South Africa speaking. That's failure. That's failure at its best. Yes, I know. Woo! And I'm doing it in my bare feet. And that's what this is all about. So I want you to all take those limiting beliefs when you go home, and I want you to have your own little ceremony and say, I am not that. I am not those beliefs. So now we're going to define our strengths. We're on the next page. I don't know if I can flip this over. I might have to jump. No, we're good. So now that we know that we can do anything, we have to define our strength. And a strength is defined as a strong attribute or inherent asset. Knowing your own individual strengths will give you the keys to focus on how you can best accomplish your goals in a way that empowers and energizes you. And that's really important. Because if you're doing stuff every day in your organizing business that drains you, you're not going to be in it for 5 years. And you're not going to be in it for 2 or even 1. And in 5 years, I have started and stopped so many things because I do a little check. How am I feeling today? And I just read the most amazing book, and I'm going to give you the name right now, Go to Your Strengths by Marcus Beckingham. I just finished reading it. We purchased it for our whole team because it's that important that you work to your strengths. And what happens is we all have things that we are innately good at. I have energy. When people meet me, the word that they use to describe me later, and I got an email from a gentleman, I went to an AIM conference, Atlantic Internet Marketing. So I was in a room with 300 computer geeks. Now, how fun would that be? Anyways, so, and there I am. Who am I to think that I can hang out with these geeks? But I met another geek who was into videography, like we are with our new site, Videos and Online Learning. And he sent me an email 2 days from then. He says, he said, thank you. I have one word to describe you. And in the new dictionary, they need to have Elaine, Shannon beside the word energetic. Because that's who you are. That's what you are. That's part of my being. But I'm not always like this. There are days when I wake up and I think, what was that happened yesterday? Because I, one day, attracted a client that wasn't my ideal client. And I attracted that client for the wrong reason. I was thinking about money instead of why I'm doing this. And when I was done with this client, I was so low that day, I had to call 3 other organizers to say, what just happened? How did I attract that? And it was like, the whole incident was like a train wreck. And I went back to my ideal client, and she didn't match any of the attributes. Why did I take that job? Because I thought I needed the money. The money's great, but it's not about the money. The money will come. And in the movie, if you build it, they will come. The right people will come. And by the end of this session, you are going to have a picture of who that ideal client is. And for the people who are just starting, you are so lucky. Because you will have something that I didn't have till probably a year ago when I found my ideal client. And that ideal client, she kept coming to me over and over again. And I thought, look at you. And it wasn't the same one, but she had the same picture. She was the same person, but with a different face and a different personality. And I thought, how lucky am I? So let's talk about our strengths. And this is the hardest part. Because who here loves to walk around going, well, I'm energetic, I'm lovely, I'm really organized. Who of us walks around like that? It's usually like, oh, my hair, yeah, it looks nice. I don't know how I got it like that. That's a nice jacket. Oh, it's really nothing. Right? We are more comfortable with that than walking around saying, hi, I'm Elaine Shannon. I'm 4'10.5". My legs dangle on an airplane chair. Now I know that. I need to travel first class. And I'm energetic. So let's talk about our strengths. So I'm going to start that with energetic. And the other thing is that I'm honest. And if you ask me how I'm doing, I'll tell you. And I'll look in your face, and I don't ask as many questions as Colette, but I want to know how you're doing. Really how you're doing. How's your business doing? Be honest. Well, you know what? I had a really crappy summer. I didn't make any money. I didn't make any money for 4 months because I was working on something that I was so passionate about that when it does launch, I will make the money. So it's not always about the money. So, what strengths do we have? And I would like everybody, I'm going to give you like 2 seconds to think because I'm going to go around the room really quick and you're going to say one strength about yourself. I'd like to hear one from everybody. Who wants to start? Suzanne? I know, look at her. It's like she could say, oh, well, just like my feet are too big. My hair isn't right today. What about you?
I'm empathetic.
Oh, and in this industry, I can't even spell that. Empathy. There we go. And you know what? That is wonderful because not everybody has empathy. That is a strength. Colette.
She took mine, but
Oh!
good networker.
Networking. Excellent. Not everybody's great at networking. And if you're not, find a buddy who is, like our friend down here who's the teacher. If you're not great at sales, maybe not great at networking, you find a friend who's really good at it and hang out with them. And just mirror them and be with them. And you might not be a great networker ever, but you'll be more comfortable being and doing. So, pardon me? Versatile. Sorry. I'm still getting used to your lovely accents. And I know you guys are going, whatever. We're not the ones with the accent. Yes.
A sense of calmness and serenity.
Oh. Calmness and serenity. Yeah, you need that. You need to center your clients. Quick, good listener. Good. Oh, yes. Although we have one mouth and 2 ears, sometimes we reverse the order. Yes?
I'm creative.
Creative. Yes. Quick, Judith. Caring? Excellent. Caring. So you're good at explaining and articulating. A good articulate? Oh.
More in the direction teacher. I don't know if there's one word.
Methodical? Yeah. Rational. Excellent. Rational. Interpersonal. Excellent. Karen. Positive. Yes, because it was a Colette.
Big picture.
Big picture. Yes, and we need people who are big picture thinkers. Jean?
I'll get a good sense of humor.
You have a good oh, yes. Humor. And your clients need that because this is a stressful time for them. And one client I had, we did a funny thing, and he had cut off his ponytail a couple years before and kept it. And they threw it in the drawer to see how I would react when I found it. So there was like the ponytail, I'm like, whoa! So I was like putting it on the back. What do we do with this? You know, get the flies away. So you really have to. Yes.
I'm passionate.
Passionate. Because in this industry, when you see what Colette sees, you need to have passion to go back.
Yeah, I'm
Patient.
patient.
For instance, when your client takes 20 minutes to get rid of one thing, you cannot rush them. You cannot rush them. You can't move them forward until they're ready to go. Be firm but loving. Yes.
They've taken all of mine, but let's try supportive.
Supportive. Yes. So when they're getting rid of their ponytail, you can do that. I don't know why he was keeping it. I think he was just being funny. Yeah.
Genuine interest.
Genuine interest. I'm getting my exercise too. This is good. Genuine interest. Yes. Oh, sharing your knowledge. Sharing is good because what you give away comes back. Excellent. Next. Determined. Sometimes you need that. When you think that. You need a dictionary for another really big word. It doesn't have to be big. What? You're encouraging. Good. Encouraging, yes. Compassionate. Compassionate? Compassionate, yes. We kind of say it different. Our vowels are different, yes?
I'm optimistic, but I'm thinking, looking at that whole list, nobody has used organized yet.
There you go. So here's a little trade secret for those people that aren't, like, are just starting. Organizers are not always organized. We have our dirty little secrets.
Nobody used this one either, but I'm lazy.
You're
That's
lazy.
why I like everything very simple and very
Oh, my friend gave me a fridge mag that says organized people are the most laziest people I know. Excellent. Good. And Estelle. Oh, thank you. Good word to finish on. Authentic. And that's how I started my journey 5 years ago. As Colette knows, I'm very authentic. And I for most of my life, up until before I was 40, I wasn't. I was everything that the person around me wanted me to be. I know, and people look at me now and go, really? I can't imagine. But I was like a chameleon, and I would blend in. Oh, you want me to be a banker? Good. I'll be a nice banker. I'll wear a navy suit. I'll get my targets, and I'll do what I need to do. Oh, I'm a mother now. Okay, I'll be a good mother, and I'll do what I need to do. And then one day I woke up just before I was 40, and I said, I need to be Elaine. And it's taken me the last 3 years to peel off the layers that I put on myself of what all those people in my life, or what I thought I had to be and do to be loved. I mean, and this is very heartfelt for me, and thank you for finishing on that word, because if we are not authentic in your business, if my customers came to my website and they saw a girl with straight hair in a navy suit with my business attire on, and I showed up to work, would there be a problem there? There would be a total disconnect in what I presented and who I am. And that's why you need to go to your strengths. And you need to be who you are. And you need to take those strengths, and if you have a variety of strengths, blend them together. Because there are so many things that you can do with those talents, like Colette, who has a variety of clients, and Colette does a variety of things, and she does them all wonderfully because they all play to her strengths. And when she doesn't, she finds people who it's their strength. For example, bookkeeping. I would rather scrub the toilets in my house than do bookkeeping. So it must be really bad. So from day one in my business, I've hired a bookkeeper. And at the beginning, and we're going to talk about that next in collaboration, I found somebody who I could barter services with. So for the first 4 years of my business, I never paid for my bookkeeping services. I gave them organizing, they gave me bookkeeping. So to end this section on strengths, and I think we have a really good start, and does everybody have a grasp of where I'm going with this? And that book, Go to Your Strengths, is amazing. So greatness lies not in being strong, but in the right use of strength. Because your strength could be somebody else's weakness. Jean talked about collaboration last night, which was a great segue for today, thank you. And now that you have an association and you have your fellow organizers, there is a pool of people who know how to do things or want to work with clients that you don't necessarily want to. You have each other. And just think how many years ago, Tracy, 5 years ago, when you started this and you didn't have anybody to draw from. You had to go to NAPO. You had to go to a whole other continent to get support. And luckily, because of these two ladies here and all the work they've done, you have a support system here that will grow by leaps and bounds because now you have this entity. So collaboration is huge. It's huge. And my beginnings, I worked in a bank for 12 years, and the bank collaboration is not in their vocabulary whatsoever. And I had an office, and my 3 friends had an office, and we all had the same targets every year, financial targets that we had to meet. And a client would come into the bank, and we would run to the counter to greet them because we all had the same target. And you know, almost kick them like, okay, I got them first. And there was never any such thing as collaboration. It was constant competition. So I came from this world of competition where it was dog eat dog, I'm going to get mine and then I'll get my bonus and I'll get my raise. And how depleting to your energy to always work in that mode. And when I left the bank, I stayed home with my children for quite a few years, and I started my own business, and I said, 1, I'm going to do everything opposite of how they did it at the bank, and I'm taking competition out of my vocabulary. I do not believe in it. There's healthy competition perhaps, but I believe in collaboration, because when I did my ideal client statement, I'm pretty sure when we go around the room, if we did, when we were finished, the ideal client is different for every person in this room. And every organizing conference I've been at, and this is the 7th, and I've met probably 1,500 to 2,000 organizers over my lifetime, and if I sat them down, their ideal client statement would be different for every one of them. Because you play to your strengths, you play to who you are, and that's how we make this industry bigger. And we take that and we make the pie bigger, because what we do is we're not sharing a smaller pie, we're sharing a bigger pie. So the shares are much larger. So collaborative methods are processes, behaviors, and conversations that relate to collaboration between individuals. These methods specifically aim to increase the success of teams as they engage in collaborative problem solving, also referred to as strategic alliances. I love strategic alliances. There are many ways that you can have them. And Stephen Covey, I don't know if you've read any of his books, he's wonderful, and simply define the whole is greater than the sum of his parts. So 1 + 1 = 3. How profound is that? It doesn't get better. So we're going to talk about collaborative opportunities. And this is big. So not only collaboration within your group, but who can you collaborate with outside of your group? And to get things rolling, I'm going to give you a few examples in what I've done. So my bookkeeper. Now my bookkeeper also has clients. And my bookkeeper's clients are small business owners. And my clients are small business owners. We have the same clients. So I did a good job for my bookkeeper. The bookkeeper did a great job for me. And what we started doing was handing the names back and forth to our clients. We were client sharing. I also work with quite a few physicians who have moved from their offices to a home office. And I've said to them, and here's some really interesting things, they have bigger clients, perhaps, who are a bit disorganized. So how do they increase their patient load? Well, they offer seminars. It's very outside the box. And I don't know if you could do that here. But let's think about the opportunities. Now, I'm going to pick on the teacher again. Because teachers generally are a very organized bunch. But there are some that aren't, and I have a friend who's a teacher, and I've gone in with some interesting things like using the non-sticky labels so that you could take the stuff on and off at the end of the year. So you could collaborate within your industry, within your association, because you see things inside that as an organizer we might not. So you might have solutions and systems that could help them do their jobs better. So think about the places that you go and the people that you meet. So within your industries and associations that are outside of organizing, and where else could you collaborate? Oh, yes, and Colette has tried that. And PSY, I see it. Psychologists? Excellent. Networking. That.
She actually said she can help the clients up to a point. It's not a need in the island.
For the organizers that haven't started yet, like here's your networking list. Here's your marketing list right here. We're working on your marketing list. Anything else? Cleaning companies. Mm-hmm.
Lawyers, we deal with estates.
Estates? Like estate lawyers or friends?
My best referral came from a friend who's a dentist.
Dentist.
We done it on
Dentist, good. Yeah. There's another barter. I barter with my dentist. We don't have dental care, so free dental care or through our whatever. So our dentist, I do work for him, and we get our dental care covered. I'm telling you, you just have to get beyond the fear of asking. Because when you go in and say, we don't have any coverage, and by the way, do you need any organizing done? And he said, well, as a matter of fact, we do. And next thing you know, 4 years later, we don't have any dental bills.
I'm volunteering with my advertising. I get to advertise in
Oh, that's good.
I get to get into that field.
So not only magazines, like your local newspapers, radio stations, yes, any media outlets.
And I find that the smaller ones are better because they're more keen to barter, whereas the bigger ones haven't got that concept yet.
So you need to go more or less to smaller, locally owned, where the decision maker is very close to the door, where you need to go in. So find that person. Pardon me? Journalists, yes. Oh my, yes. Oh, they have paper. They're right up there with professors. Journalists, excellent. Hairdressers, yes. Anybody in the sort of the holistic specialties, because we're all doing the same thing. They're doing sort of the body work, and we're doing the spatial work, and then people that do the mind work. Pardon me? Yes. Oh, yes. Great place to do presentations and seminars. We met the girl that we've hired to do our blogging. She was at the front of a presentation that my business partner did. Yes. Schools. Schools. Yes. I've seen some messy offices at the, pardon me?
Coaches.
Coaches.
Coaches to deal with perhaps who specialize in career coaching or
Yes. Yes. Anybody who's moving people forward. Yeah.
Financial planners.
Oh, good one. Let's get some more collaboration, because ladies, this is your marketing list. We haven't exhausted it yet. Colette, I know you have a list as long as my arm. Okay.
Working with someone who's just having twins. So I put that on my list before I left, and I told Elaine, I said, research the group online and let's talk to them when I get back. So
Parents of multiple birth associations, good. So scrapbooking and craft clubs, yes.
The entertainment industry, the directors and the
Yes.
creatives and
So the library, that's a great one if you want to do seminars. I don't know if they do that here in South Africa, where you can get the sort of the room at the library and do a little presentation. Reader boards or community boards, like would you have those in your local grocery stores? Excellent. So do up a nice one-pager and go out and just plaster. So when you're doing that, as Tracy said, that 7 times or that 8-time over thing that they need to see you. So pick your neighborhood, wherever it is that you're going to be, and go and just plaster your pamphlets everywhere. Yes. Government, yes. Where Colette and I are in Canada, they have a Women in Business initiative. And so over the years, they want to grow women businesses because we tend to stay in business longer than men do. And we put a lot more effort into it. And it's putting more money back into the economy. So they're spending money on training for us. And all those sorts of things. And who was it this morning that Allison had mentioned some of those women's networking groups, and those would be great places because maybe you don't have that information, but you're at one of these meetings and somebody says, oh, by the way, our government here is doing this new initiative, and this is something that, you know, might benefit you. So,
Local Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber, yes. And do you have Board of Trade as well, or just the Chamber of Commerce? Would that be, is it this, about the same? In Canada, we have, like in some of the larger cities, we have a Board of Trade, which is a larger association than the small town I live in, which is the Chamber of Commerce. And that's also a great place, too, to do the bartering, because you have a lot of small business owners in one place. So you can say, you know, ooh, there's a bookkeeper over there, and they're fairly new. And also creating your own women's networking group. If you don't have one in your area, it's possible. It is possible. And that's what the conference is about today. 4 years ago, a girlfriend and I, who were both stay-at-home moms and decided that we'd like to do this, and we both had executive jobs before that, and we felt very isolated. You know, you'd be sitting in your home office and you'd go, but there's nobody to talk to. Like, there's nobody there. So we thought, how can we get outside of this? So one day we met for coffee, the two of us. And here we are 4 years later, and we have 50 women that pop in and out of our association meetings, and we got it in a church hall, so they don't charge us for the use of the hall. We meet every second Thursday morning for 1 hour. And we send out a newsletter, you know, here's the agenda, this is what's going on. And so in those 2 meetings every month, they start at 8:15, they end at 9:15. If you want to go for coffee after, you can do that. And we've developed from it being a support group for other women, because we were all having the same struggles, to now, in our meetings, 1 meeting a month, we bring in a guest speaker, free of charge, because they're in there promoting their business. The guest speaker comes in and talks about an issue that would be in relation to us in the group. And the other meeting is a roundtable discussion. And what we'll do is, because we're solopreneurs, most of us, we throw an issue on the table and we go around the room and we give that business owner all of our ideas. What do you think I should do with this? So it's the burning business issue. Another meeting that we did was we all brought our favorite business books in. And we had to do like a 1-minute elevator pitch on the book. So the books were all there on the table. And I mean, these are things that as solopreneurs, you feel totally isolated. And it's possible for you to do this. So a couple gals having coffee can turn into 50 gals having coffee. We've also done, we had brought in Michael Auger, who wrote The Law of Attraction. He happened to be in our city, and he said, why don't you have a trade show? So we invited guests in, we charged them, the money went to the church, and we all set up little booths at the back of the room, and we highlighted all our products and our services, and it was amazing. And these are things that we did with no money. There was no budget. We weren't putting it in out of our pockets for everybody, and we just, somebody took on a task for the event, and it just happened. You guys can do this. It's totally possible. Okay. Anything else? Have we exhausted the list? Is everybody exhausted? Okay. This is the last part, and this gets a little heady, but when we're done, you're going to have a picture of your client. Based on your strengths, what you like, who you are. So there's different things that you need to take into account when you're doing your ideal client picture. So geography. As many people as there are here in the room, we all have different aspirations for our business. Some people want to go to different continents, Colette and I, to speak. That's part of what we want to do. Some people want to work in their own neighborhood. When I do my domestic work, and in my ideal client statement, my clients are within 15 minutes of my house. And actually, all my clients are within 15 minutes of my house because I've said that. I've written it out. Because I did have clients in Colette City, and I said, why am I driving 3.5 hours to a client? That's not what I want. That doesn't match what I want to do, because then I have to be away from my husband and my children. Although it's not bad coming here. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. No. I'll go visit you, but yeah, do I want to go? I did that for 3 years, and that's not what I decided. So in your geography, think and circle these. Or right beside, do you want your client to be in your neighborhood? Like right in your neighborhood. That's where mine are. They're in my neighborhood. Or is your client in your town? Or is your client in a portion of your town? Be very specific, because if you aren't specific, the universe will reply with an answer. And it might be that client that I had that came to me that didn't fit any of these.
You can have more than one.
You certainly can, and Colette has done this. She has a demographic profile, probably for how many different, for all the different segments of things that you do. So when Colette's doing event planning, these are the types of clients that she wants to have. So for me, when I do a speaking engagement, this is the demographic. So you ladies are my demographic. You're women business owners who want to use what you love and do, use your passions, and be authentic. And I want to stand in front of you and give you one piece of information today that you will take away and to help you reach your fullest potential. That's my ideal client for this setting. So you can have one for maybe your corporate clients, or your small office, home office, or your residential. It can be as broad as what you want to do. But have that statement, because you will get sent things and situations that you are saying, I don't like this. Because you weren't clear enough about what you wanted. So where are your clients? Think about the geography. I know Tracy travels to Johannesburg. Like you've got sort of an area that you deal with. Yeah, so Tracy's specific. She knows that this is where she wants to work. So think about that. And, region, country, or what continent. And I never thought when I developed the seminar 2 years ago that I would ever even consider that. I just threw it in there for fun. And are your clients globally? So Marcia has global clients. When our Organizing Connection site, on September 1st, I think that's tomorrow, I don't know what day it is, when it goes live, our clients will be global. I won't sit in front of them necessarily, but virtually we'll be in front of each other. So think about that. Do you want to make a global difference? Or do you want to make a difference in your town? Because you are making a difference. Next, you want to deal with the age and gender. Age and gender. Male or female? Which do you prefer to work with? Young, old, students, middle-aged, baby boomers, seniors or elderly. I've had a few senior clients, and it is not my favorite clientele base. But I have a friend who loves working with them. And she's a former nurse, so it takes her back to taking care of her patients and nurturing them. And she said when she leaves those appointments with the seniors, she just feels like she's done something wonderful. I feel like I've poked myself in the eye, right? So you see, it's different for everybody. The situations are all different. Who is it that you want to work with? And think about your previous life. What did you do before you came to the table here today? And bring that in. Who did you like to correspond with? Where did you light up? Who were you with when you were like that? Marital status. Do you want to deal with single moms or single men? Depends. Do you want to deal with... It depends. Do you want to deal with partners? Like, do you want to work with the husband and wife team together, which is interesting. Some people like to do that. Do you want somebody who's married? Do you work with people who are divorced and going through a transition? Or somebody who's widowed, and that was the one senior client I had. And we had to stop every hour and have tea and cookies. I thought, we're never going to get it done. But that was the pace that and that's where the patience comes in, because that was his pace. And so I had to stop and have cookies. So I had to work at his pace. So think about these things when you're building your demographic, because you will attract the things that you don't want. So is your client high school educated, college, university professional, or are they in a trade? I prefer, and my ideal client when I do home-based business is women who, are doing a service-based business. So they have like forms and papers and all that exciting stuff that, I can help them develop into a process where they can grow their business. And I have worked with some professionals like doctors in their home, but that is just, when the wife's pulling the bags out of the closet, and the bags are grocery bags that she's tied that have the bank statements and the bills from 3 years. No, I don't want to do that. Obviously, somebody here's done that. That's not my ideal client. And their income. Do you want the money to come easily and frequently? Do you want the money to come through government funding? So your client has been funded, so you know that you can get the big projects. We have some programs where we are called CAS. It's a consultant advisory service. And I'm on their short list. So women entrepreneurs can hire me at a much higher rate and longer contract than they would have if they hired me individually. And the government will pay $4,000. Yes. So what kind of, but the caveat to that is it takes about 4 months for me to get my money. So, income, how do you want to get that money? Do you want the money, right at the time of the appointment? That's quick money. Or do you want to go for the bigger contracts and corporate? I mean, we have companies at home that I've been bothering them for 6 months to get paid because large corporations don't pay on time. They pay when they figure, you're going to go bankrupt because you're a small business. So think about that. So are they starting out working class skilled laborers? Are they middle class executive business owners? Are they affluent seniors? Who are they? And housing. Do you prefer working in a home, a condominium, or a townhouse? Do you prefer to work in a detached home? Seniors housing, or do they live on a boat? Anybody have clients that live on the boat? No, not here? You could have some clients. Yeah, like how interesting, but you need to know how to deal with storage on a boat. So, but there's a specialty, and there's a girl in Canada who is an equestrian organizer. She's specialized, Jackie Hollywood Brown. She loves horses. She's always had horses her whole life, and she's developed things that help them with the stable and all the gadgets that go with horses. And she would be like your expert. So if you had a client that had horses in a stable, you would email Jackie and say, "How do I do this?" So think about this. Think about your hobbies and the things that you're really good at to do that. So. It could be a small office, all kinds of things. Then there's psychographic. It's like, where do your clients shop? Because that's where you'd put your ads up. So if you figure out that your client lives in your neighborhood, it's a female who's married, and she has a university education, but she's staying home with the children. She has really high income, and she lives in a detached house, and she shops at X store. Guess where you're going to put your stuff? Or hang out. Because you know where she is. But also, besides where does she hang out, where does she shop, who does she talk to, what magazine is she reading, what little leaflet does she get in the mail, who does she talk to, which doctor office does she visit, does she go to the dentist, what is she doing, or what is he doing, what is your small business owner client doing? So the last thing is the specific segments. Are they physicians? Are they teachers? Is your client an entrepreneur? Are they mumpreneurs? There's a whole industry cropping up. My friend Peggy Porter, who wrote The Yummy Mummy Makeover, and probably Peggy through Kendall's programs and Elizabeth Hagen. And Peggy and I, we live like very close to each other, and she wrote this book 4 years ago, just after I started my business. And she has gone from writing this little book, okay, I published it, and now she's doing teleclasses, and she's started a coaching program for mumpreneurs. Big, big business. Young families, do you want to deal with people that have toddlers? Or do you, right, Kim just went, I'd rather poke my eye out over that one. So that is not going to be in your ideal client statement. And the thing is, you can't write your ideal client statement in the negative. You cannot say, I do not want to work with. You have to say, I want to. My ideal client is. So is your specific segment seniors? We have a lady in Canada called the Downsizing Diva, Karen Shin, and she wears purple boas, and she comes to her client appointments like a red hatter, you know, all that stuff with the purple, and there's feathers all behind her, and her clients are strictly seniors who are moving or downsizing. That's it. That is her demographic. And isn't she just wonderful for them? She has such a beautiful personality, and these seniors love her. They do. And then, is it corporate, residential, or small office, home office? So, this is your homework after today. And when you're done, and I'll explain this to you. So when I've done this repeatedly, and when I attract the wrong client, I go back and say, what was I missing? How did I attract that situation? Because I wasn't specific enough about what I wanted. So my ideal client is, and you fill in the blank, who, fill in the blank, and lives or works in, fill in the blank. He or she wants my expertise in my area of specialty. What is it that you love to do? So I can help them achieve their goals. And you would insert the goals that you would have, and I have here from a needs analysis. I usually do that with my clients, and so you get a good feel for, over the years, the type of clients that you work with, what their needs are. So for mompreneurs, we're looking for balance. You know, we're looking at how do we do that? For seniors, they're looking for transitioning, you know, getting rid of so that they can move on to the next stage in their life. And these clients, and this is so important, the last sentence, are we ready for this? They have the ability to pay me what I am worth. And Colette and I talked about this last night. Because as long as we've been doing it, we still need to reiterate that we are worth that. They pay on time. And they are grateful for what they have accomplished. So I'm going to finish off with a wonderful quote. I could quote Henry Ford all day. Whether you think you can or can't do a thing, you are right. And I'll close with that. Thank you very much, ladies. Thank you. Thank you.